Good morning, parents and learners. Welcome back to our Mathematics 9 Facebook Live. We are now on Lesson 3 of the third quarter. Today, we will discuss the theorems on Kite and Trapezoid and the Midline Theorem. Let me present to you our objectives for this session. At the end of the discussion, you should be able to: number 1, define trapezoid and kite. Number 2, prove theorems on kite. Number 3, prove theorems on isosceles trapezoid. Number 4, prove the midline theorem. And lastly, apply the theorems on isosceles trapezoid, kite, and midline in finding its measurements. Please be ready with your ADM or modules and turn it on page 9 in Mathematics section. Make sure that your pen and paper are with you for solving and taking down those purposes. Before we proceed to the topic, let us review some related topics that were discussed in the previous FB Live. Our activity is entitled Fact or Fake. You need to tell if the given statement is fact or fake. If the statement is fact, use the heart react button. And if it is fake, use the wow button. Are you ready? Let's have statement number 1. All parallelograms are quadrilaterals. Will you hit hard or wow? 10 seconds, go. Time's up. If you answered hard, you are correct. Number 2. A square is a trapezoid. Is it hard or wow? 10 seconds, go. If you hit wow, you are great because it is fake. Statement number 3. All trapezoids are isosceles. You have 10 seconds to answer. Go. Time's up. The correct answer is fake. You are doing great, students. Fourth statement is parallelograms, kite, and trapezoid are quadrilaterals. Will you drop hard or wow? 10 seconds, go. If you drop hard, good job. Parallelogram, kite, and trapezoid are quadrilaterals. The last statement is, all trapezoids are parallelograms. Is it fact or fake? 10 seconds to react. Go. If you answered fake, great. It seems that you have done a great job in our previous lesson. Are you familiar with this larong Pinoy? Drop your answer in our comment section. Yes, this is luksong baka. How about this game? Yeah, this is tumbang preso. How about this one? Great! It is a patintero or harangang daga. Did you try to play those larong Pinoy? Have you ever tried to fly a kite? How do you call a kite in Filipino? Very good. It is saranggola. How about a bigger kite? It is guriol. Did you know that the highest altitude by a single kite recorded in Guinness World Records is 4,879.54 meters or 16,009 feet? It was achieved by Robert Moore in Cobar, New South Wales, Australia on September 23, 2014. For you to fly a kite that soars up in the sky, let us discuss its properties and theorems. What is kite? Kite is a quadrilateral with two distinct pairs of adjacent and congruent sides. Let's say we have kite A, B, C, D. One pair of adjacent sides is segment DA and segment BA. Therefore, they are congruent. Another pair of adjacent sides is segment DC and segment BC. Therefore, they are congruent. Let's have the first theorem on kite. If a quadrilateral is a kite, then exactly one pair of opposite angles is congruent. To prove this theorem, we have the given NICK is a kite. Prove that angle NKC is congruent to angle NIC. Let's have statements and reasons columns or the two-column proof. Our first statement is NICK is a kite. The reason for this statement is it is a given. Statement number 2. Segment KN is congruent to segment IN. And segment KC is congruent to segment IC. The reason is definition of a kite. Since NICK is a kite, they are the pairs of adjacent and congruent sides. Number 3. Segment NC is congruent to segment NC. The reason is reflexive property of congruence. Number 4 statement. Triangle NKC is congruent to triangle NIC. The reason is SSS or the side congruent postulate. Our statement number 5 is angle NKC is congruent to angle NIC. The reason is corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent or CPCTC. Therefore, based on our 5 statements, we prove that angle NKC is congruent to angle NIC. And it also proves our theorem number 1. That is, if a quadrilateral is a kite, then exactly one pair of opposite angles is congruent. Let's have this question. If angle NIC is 102 degrees, what is the measure of angle NKC? Comment down your answer. Very good. It is also 102 degrees because angle NIC is congruent to angle NKC. Number 2 theorem. In a kite, the perpendicular bisector of at least one diagonal is the other diagonal. In our given NICK is a kite, the diagonals here are segment NC and segment KI. And it says in the theorem that the perpendicular bisector of at least one diagonal is the other diagonal. In other words, if we take a look at a kite, the longer diagonal bisects the shorter diagonal. Therefore, segment SC bisects segment KI at point R. Therefore, segment KR is congruent to segment IR. And segment NC is perpendicular to segment KI, meaning it forms 90-degree angle. A question based on theorem number 2. If measurement of segment KR is equal to 25, how long is segment IR? Since segment NC bisects segment KI at point R, hence segment KR is congruent to segment IR because it divides the KI into two equal measures. Therefore, measurement of segment IR is equal to 25 units also. Another question. What is the measurement of angle NRI? You have to comment down your answer. Great! 90 degrees. Because NC is perpendicular bisector of segment KI. So, it forms 90-degree angle. How about the measurement of angle KRC? Yes, it is also 90-degree angle. Our last theorem for kite is the area of a kite is half the product of the legs of its diagonals. To find the area of a kite, it is 1/2 of the product of the diagonals AC and DB. A question based on theorem number 3. Find the area of a kite NICK if its diagonals NC and IK measure 30 and 16 respectively. Based on the markings, NICK is a kite. The area of a kite is 1/2 of the product of the diagonals NC and IK. To solve the area, substitute the given measures. Copy 1/2, then NC is equal to 30 times IK is 16. 30 times 16 is equal to 480. 1/2 of 480 is 240. Therefore, the area of a kite NICK is 240 square units. Have you been to Iloilo? Do you know this church? This is Miagaw Church, located in Iloilo. The architectural style of the church as a whole is Baroque Romanesque. The church base is 6 meters wide, and the huge stone walls, which are 1.5 meters high, are fortified with 4 meters thick flying buttresses to defend the church from Moro intruders. The church facade features are ornately carved bas-relief in the center of two large watchtower on either side. The bas-relief is a special feature of the cathedral with influences from medieval Spanish, Chinese Muslim, and the local customs and elements. At first glance, what shape does watchtower look like? Yes, they look like a trapezoid. What is trapezoid? A trapezoid is a quadrilateral with only one pair of parallel sides. But today, we will focus on isosceles trapezoid. An isosceles trapezoid is a trapezoid with congruent legs. Let's discuss the parts of an isosceles trapezoid. It has legs. Legs are congruent and non-parallel sides. In this trapezoid, side AD and BC are the legs. And the legs are congruent. So, segment AD is congruent to segment BC. Another part, the bases. Bases are the two parallel sides. The bases in this trapezoid ABCD are segment AB and segment DC. And it says that they are parallel sides. So, therefore, segment AB is parallel to segment DC. Base angles are another part of an isosceles trapezoid. We have two pairs of base angles, lower and upper base angles. In this trapezoid, the lower base angles are angle ADC and angle BCD. And the upper base angles are angle DAB and angle CBA. The first theorem on isosceles trapezoid is the base angles of an isosceles trapezoid are congruent. This means that our base angles of an isosceles trapezoid have equal measures. Let us have this example. Given trapezoid LOPE, the lower base angles are angle LEB and angle OVE. The upper base angles are angle OLE and angle LOB. Therefore, angle LEB is congruent to angle OVE and angle OLE is congruent to angle LOB. Given isosceles trapezoid LOVE, if angle OVE is 70 degrees, what is the measure of angle LEB? Since angle OVE and angle LEB are base angles, so they are congruent. Hence, measurement of angle OVE is equal to the measurement of angle LEB. Therefore, angle LEB is also 70 degrees. Theorem number 2 of an isosceles trapezoid is the diagonals of an isosceles trapezoid are congruent. Let us prove the second theorem. Given LOVE is an isosceles trapezoid, segment LE is congruent to segment OB, and segment LO is parallel to segment EB. Prove that segment LB is congruent to segment OE. To prove it, we will use again the two-column rule. Our first statement is segment LE is congruent to segment OB, and segment LO is parallel to segment EB because it is given. Second statement, angle LEB is congruent to angle OVE. Why? Base angles of an isosceles trapezoid are congruent. Third statement, segment EB is congruent to segment EB. The reason is reflexive property of congruence. Our fourth statement is triangle LEB is congruent to triangle OVE because of SAS, or the side angle side congruence postulate. And our last statement, of course, is segment LB is congruent to segment OE. because of corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent, or the CPCTC. Note that segment LV and segment OE are the diagonals of the isosceles trapezoid. Therefore, based on our 5 statements, we prove that segment LB is congruent to segment OE. So, the theorem that the diagonals of an isosceles trapezoid are congruent is true. Our third theorem, opposite angles of an isosceles trapezoid are supplementary. Given isosceles trapezoid LOVE, we have two pairs of opposite angles. Angle LEV is opposite to angle VOL, and angle OLE is opposite to angle EVO. Hence, they are supplementary, meaning when we add the measures of two opposite angles, the sum is 180. Therefore, measurement of angle LEV plus measurement of angle VOL is equal to 180. And measurement of angle OLE plus measurement of angle EVO is 180. Question based on theorem number 3. If angle OLE is 120 degrees, what is the measure of angle OVE? Since they are opposite angles, therefore, they are supplementary. Thus, measurement of angle OLE plus measurement of angle OVE is equal to 180. Angle OLE is 120 plus measurement of angle OVE is equal to 180. Using addition property of equality, we will have measurement of angle OVE is equal to 180 minus 120. 180 minus 120 is 60 degrees. So therefore, measurement of angle OVE is equal to 60 degrees. Median of a trapezoid is the segment joining the midpoints of the legs of a trapezoid. In trapezoid ABCD, the midpoint of leg AD is point E, and the midpoint of leg BC is point F. Therefore, our median is segment EF. The median of a trapezoid is parallel to each base, and its length is 1/2 the sum of the lengths of the bases. This is what we call the mid-segment theorem of a trapezoid. Since segment EF is the median and it says that it is parallel to each base, therefore, segment EF is parallel to segment AB, is parallel to segment DC. The length of the median is 1/2 of the bases. Therefore, the measurement of segment EF is equal to 1/2 times the quantity of segment AB plus segment DC. Given isosceles trapezoid LOVE, point N and J are the midpoints of the two legs. What is the median of trapezoid LOVE? Yes, the median is segment NJ. Therefore, segment NJ is parallel to segment LO is parallel to segment EV. If measurement of segment LO is equal to 15 and measurement of segment EV is 25, how long is segment NJ? Since segment NJ is the median, therefore, segment NJ is equal to 1/2 of the sum of segment LO and segment EB. Segment NJ is equal to 1/2 times segment LO is 15 plus segment EB is 25. 15 plus 25 is 40. 1/2 of 40 is 20. Therefore, the measurement of segment NJ is 20 units. Another example, given YABZ is an isosceles trapezoid. If segment JR is equal to 13 and segment CB is equal to 18, how long is segment YA? Segment JR is the median of the trapezoid. Therefore, segment JR is equal to 1/2 of the sum of segment YA and segment CB. Segment JR is 13, which is equal to 1/2 times segment YA is unknown plus segment ZB is 18. So, we have 13 is equal to 1/2 of segment YA plus 18. 1/2 times segment YA plus 18 is segment YA plus 18 all over 2. Cross multiply, we will have 13 times 2 is 26. Then, segment YA plus 18 times 1 is segment YA plus 18. Using addition property of equality, we will obtain 26 plus negative 18 is equal to segment YA. And 26 plus negative 18 is 8. So therefore, the measurement of segment YA is 8 units. Using the symmetric property of equality, segment YA is equal to 8 units. Another theorem is the midline theorem. The segment that joins the midpoints of the two sides of a triangle is parallel to the third side and half as long as the base of the triangle. In triangle ABC, the midpoint of side AC is point D. The midpoint of side AB is point E. Therefore, segment DE is the median of a triangle ABC. It is said that the midline of a triangle is parallel to the third side. The third side is segment CB. So, segment DE is parallel to segment CB. The measure of the midline is half as long as the base of the triangle. Hence, segment DE is equal to 1/2 of segment CB. Let's have this example. In triangle NRJ, where points Y and B are the midpoints of segment RN and segment RJ respectively. Segment YB is the midline of triangle NRJ. So, segment YB is parallel to segment NJ, which is the third side of the triangle. If segment NJ is equal to 18, how long is segment YB? Since segment YB is the median of the triangle, segment YB is equal to 1/2 of NJ. Segment YB is equal to 1/2 times the measurement of segment NJ is 18. So 1/2 times 18 is 9. Therefore, segment YB is 9 units. To sum up today's lesson, here are some points to remember, Kite is a quadrilateral with two distinct pairs of adjacent and congruent sides. Theorems on kite. We have, if a quadrilateral is a kite, then exactly one pair of opposite angles is congruent. Second theorem, in a kite, the perpendicular bisector of at least one diagonal is the other diagonal. Third theorem, the area of a kite is half the product of the lengths of its diagonals. Trapezoid is a quadrilateral with one pair of parallel sides. Isosceles trapezoid is a trapezoid with congruent lengths. Theorems on isosceles trapezoid. The diagonals of an isosceles trapezoid are congruent. The base angles of an isosceles trapezoid are congruent. Opposite angles of an isosceles trapezoid are supplementary. Median of a trapezoid is the segment joining the midpoints of the legs of a trapezoid. The mid-segment theorem of a trapezoid, the median of a trapezoid is parallel to each base and its length is 1/2 of the sum of the lengths of the bases. The midline theorem, the segment that joins the midpoints of the two sides of a triangle is parallel to the third side and half as long as the base of the triangle. At this point, I will answer some questions from our random viewers. A question coming from our random viewer. What is a trapezium? That is a nice question. It seems that you are wide readers. There are various thoughts and ideas regarding the description of a trapezium. In some other places, like in the Western, trapezium is a trapezoid. But in other places, it is known and accepted as a general quadrilateral. I hope that you've learned something for today about the theorems on midline, kite, and trapezoid. Please keep in mind the struggles and battles that we encounter in our daily lives will make us a stronger person. Likewise, solving problems in math will mold us to be a better critical thinker and decision makers. This is Miss Jesseline Cordero. Good day and God bless.